It's Radio Skid Row 88.9, and you're tuned in to Radio Skid Row 88.9.
Yeah, he's doing it. Well done, Eddie.
I like
That was
the way you
great.
put that together.
Yeah. Ooh, what was that voice, Eddie?
I don't know, man. I'm trying to speak from the throat these days.
Nice. No, not you. I'm talking about there was
the other throat.
Yeah,
the
there's
other
mine
throat.
and yours. There's another throat in the
Yeah.
room. But hey, might be my voice as well because I sound like crap, bro. Like last night, I woke up about 19, 20 times. Can't breathe through my nose to save my life, and that actually can save your life to breathe through your nose. So that when it would work, you know. But I hope I don't sound too nasal. Shouts out to the camera and everyone watching online.
That's right. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Remember that number, 95509552. If anyone out there knows us or knows the guest that's going to appear on today, feel free to call that number or catch us on Facebook, get the message out, type something if you want a song request. If
Share.
Yeah, if you want to ask a question to the guest as well, more than happy to ask that question as well.
No doubt.
So also radioskidrow.org and goodsmoke.com.au. Let's get into it, man. This guy is like a personal guest. He's not even a guest, he's a family.
Don't get him confused.
Don't get him confused with who?
With the opponent John Jones fought with over the weekend. They injured his knee during the fight.
Who?
And has the last name Santos. This isn't Thiago Santos. This is Peri Santos in the building. Everyone, ladies and gentlemen, Peri Santos. Put that applause button on.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in, Peri. How you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me. First time on the radio station.
Yeah, I know.
Pretty
Everyone.
exciting, actually.
First of many.
Fancy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. We're trying to, get more equipment in to, document this stuff and
Great.
all the legends that are coming in.
It looks so professional.
No, we're trying. Hey.
I think you guys are there already.
Nice.
Yeah,
Hey.
No bias, right?
No.
No, I'm not being biased.
So how do we know Peri? Peri's a family member of Breno.
Yeah, he's my cousin.
First cousin.
Mm-hmm. And
That's right.
It's been a long journey for me and Peri. He was actually born in Brazil, so he only came here when I think I was about 13 or 12 when he arrived.
Yeah.
And so he was about 10, 11?
Like 10, so what were you, 11?
Yeah, or 24. I was a bit old. I was a lot older than you. I was tougher and shit.
Yeah,
but still tiny. But yeah, so you came here with fill us in. What was it that you and your family came to Australia?
Man, originally
I know the story. I'm just asking for y'all.
So originally, my old lady got offered a scholarship to come work in the Woolcock Institute. That's in Camperdown, Sydney Uni.
What is it, Woolcock?
A Woolcock Institute.
Yeah. What is that?
And they work with, they're pretty much medical scientists.
Nice.
And my old lady met this doctor in a conference in America. Her name was Jane Woolcock. She's passed away now, but God rest her soul. But she pretty much loved my mum's work and said, hey, I got to get you over to my spot in Australia.
Nice.
And the rest is history, really. So we came over in 1997, December. Me, my mum and my brother Cowie. And the rest is history, yeah.
So how old are you when you got here?
I was 10.
Oh, so you have
10,
memories of coming in, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I was born in 1987, June, in Brazil, in a little city at the time called Ribeirão Preto, which is now a huge city.
Where's that about in Brazil?
It's in
north, south?
It's like in country São Paulo, you could say.
Oh, São Paulo, yeah.
It would be what Orange is to Sydney.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But
Then picture if Orange blew up.
so a lot more populated than the Orange.
Oh hell yeah, man!
Yeah, nice.
Hell yeah. I think. Yeah, I'm not too sure how many people are there now, but back in the day, it was dirt roads and things like that, sugarcane fields, cornfields.
Yeah.
But now it's a full-on metropolis.
Nice.
So you've been back, obviously.
Been back, I go back, every 3 to 4 years. I still have a lot of family over there. But yeah, no, Australia's my home. So I've been here, like I said, since I was 10. Went through the school system here, learned how to speak English, got my family.
Not too well, or?
Oh, well, I thought I was doing all right.
No, you're doing killer. I'm just changing up. No, you're killing it.
I can speak a couple of different types of English, man. We can speak
Job interview?
job interview English, or we can speak street English.
Telephone English, yeah.
Nice.
So what, you got here when you were 10 years old. What do you remember from being back there growing up? What was the things what you grew up with, like cartoon styles and You know, did you grow up on the
Man,
streets?
I was on that He-Man. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, I remember He-Man.
You guys back on that
He-Man was killing it in Brazil back then.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember.
Remember back in...
It wasn't as big as here as it was in Brazil. I remember. It used to kill it in
How
Brazil.
about that Captain Planet?
Yeah, Captain
Planet
Planet was...
yeah.
But that was like ABC, like, popularity. That's it.
Yeah.
It never got to, like...
Well, you guys went
Channel
to Sesame
7.
Street and things like that.
Yeah,
Well,
that was it.
I think Captain Planet's going to come out with a movie soon, or is that just
I think
Jewish?
it already has.
Oh,
it
sorry,
didn't
to
make it.
sorry to Captain Planet and his movie.
Yeah.
He didn't save the world.
It should come famous, because
It
it's
depends
fitting.
who they get
Well,
nowadays.
it's fitting though, but I'm saying because Captain Planet and climate change, you think they'll like resurrect
Wow, Eddie.
that.
Yeah,
And he's got a mullet, so
that's
you know,
a pitch, bro, for a
he's got a
boardroom,
mullet,
bro.
you know.
He's got a mullet.
It suits the
It
Australian
just-
standards, you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Producers
yeah.
just looking in.
Yeah, nice.
That's a
They're
good
giving the
idea.
go ahead.
They're
They're
like,
going,
yeah, you go with it. We'll give you the
nice,
funds.
nice.
And anyway, so you got here, 10 years old?
10 years old.
What school did you end up going into?
Originally, I went to an English school called the Wilkins IEC Centre, which was inside Marrickville High School, which in the 90s, if anyone's like from the inner west of Sydney knows that Marrickville High School is a pretty rough school to go to.
When it's the first time you come to Australia.
The first time you come to Australia and you see all these, gangs going at it, and you're like, what the bloody hell am I doing here?
So did you go to school, obviously, when you were in Brazil?
Yeah, I went to school in Brazil.
Up to what, like year two?
Year 4.
Okay.
Year 4.
So what was it like there, and then what was the transition like getting into a school here?
Actually, the schools in Brazil were pretty chilled out, actually.
Yeah.
If you think Brazil, this, that, a bit violent and shit, but I'd never seen anything of sorts until I actually came here.
Yeah. Perry's first day of school is gnarly.
You'll be more aware, like, because you're in a new place now.
Oh, yeah. I was
maybe it was happening back then.
I mean, I was shitting myself. First day of school here, I seen all the Vietnamese boys with their long fringes and rat's tails, and I'm talking about, like, boys in high school tatted up. Some Islander boys. I was like, holy crap.
What's going on? Yeah, no, that was I
felt like I walked into like a Degrassi sort of thing, and I was small, short, chubby, curly hair with an accent.
And he had this. Perry had this like likable grin, so he didn't look terrorizing. He was just a big bit of a big fella, but he always had this like gnarly smile on him.
Big
So I
friendly
think
giant.
big friendly giant sort of thing. So
and you had no brothers to guide you, like.
I had one older brother.
When you went to school.
Yeah, I had one older brother. My older brother came also, did exactly the same thing. So he went to the English school, but he was a little bit smarter than me, so he caught on pretty quick. He was only there for about 8 to 9 months, and he was out into high school, friends mixing in. I think I stayed at that school for about 1 year and 4 months. Probably someone call up now and say, "No, you were there for 2 years."
yes.
Something around those lines.
So, what year did you finish at the Marrickville one?
Man, I finished at Marrickville in 1999. So yeah, probably pushing 2 years. And then I went into Canterbury Boys High School in 2000.
Oh, Canterbury Boys.
Yeah, there's a lot of history of Canterbury Boys for people that don't know. John Howard went to Canterbury Boys.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he went to Canterbury Boys.
Oh, no way.
And there's actually
so
a few
is he half Lebanese?
Yeah, John Howard's half Lebanese on his mum's dad's side. Yeah.
For sure he has to be.
Yeah, 100%.
I bet he can still roll those laughers.
Yeah. But Perry's first day at school, fill us in on that, bro, at Canterbury Boys. Back then, where schools aren't like this anymore, at least not in the metropolitan Sydney anymore. Like it felt like it was a bit more, but now, what was it like?
I don't know. I feel like maybe you can tell the story better than me, but I have a crack at it. Like my first day at school, my old lady dropped me off with back in the day it was Franklin's, the supermarket.
Yeah, Franklin's.
I had like a couple of Franklin's bags, plastic bags with me with my books and shit.
Yeah. Oh, it's your school bag.
Yeah, as my school bag.
Shouts out to his mum. Well, that's
my old lady say so. Yeah, shout out. So
what happened?
Plastic bags. Took plastic bags to school. My first day of school.
Yeah. That's just a bully's dream, bro.
Yeah, so
that's a bully's dream.
Bullies were just lighting me up. I'm like going, oh man, we're gonna just have field day with you. And because my English also wasn't the best, still I didn't get it. So they're like, yeah, mate, how you going, plastic boy? And I'd be just like, yeah, good.
Plastic.
Oh, innocent.
Nice.
Innocent as.
Was that year 7?
Year 7, yeah.
Walking into the school.
Walking into the school, and then I get bumped into by another student running to the office with a knife in his stomach.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Day one.
Yeah, day one. So then I'm going into the office to get my timetable and get set up for the day. And here's this kid with the most relaxed, chilled look in his face and a knife in his stomach. And it wasn't even like, I thought when you get stabbed, blood splits everywhere and stuff. But no, man. So he just had a knife in his stomach. There was hardly any blood. He was so chilled out about it.
You could have stabbed him a few times.
No, you could have just sat there and, he would have probably showed you and everything. But I wasn't game enough, man. I remember calling my mum from the reception and saying, where the hell did you just drop me off? I said, there's a kid in here with a stab wound to his stomach. There's cops here. There's this and that.
And what your mum was like? What was your mum like?
She's like, yeah, I'll deal with it because I'm at work.
Yeah, hey, but Peri's mum's a G, bro. That's probably the nice version of what she actually said.
So what was the that point where you flipped and you had to take care of your own? What year was that like?
Man, I don't know. I feel like that probably came later on. So with certain things that happen in life where you had to like just man up. And
so how long were you like getting bullied for then? Was it years or?
No, I wouldn't say years, man. I got bullied like just because of the whole accent and being short and chubby and with the curly hair. I used to try to part my hair in the middle because I wanted to fit in, right? I wanted that fringe and that rat's tail. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, the matter is, did everyone else like is thinking like, oh wait, like you as someone that's coming new and in kind of not being bullied, but do you sometimes find like, wait a sec, are they laughing with me or are they laughing at me? Did that happen all day, every day? Like you're never really sure if you're in or you're not?
I think at the start it happened every day.
You don't know.
I was so unsure that, probably had anxiety and shit. But just, had to roll the punches, man. And eventually, like, I got in with the boys, like I figured out like,
was there a fight or anything you had to do to like?
No, not at the very beginning.
Did you get jumped in?
At the very beginning.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Not even that.
I got heaps of love for my Islander brothers, and at the very beginning they seen me and they're like, hey man, where you from, man? You look like, you're from the islands, this, that. And I told them, no man, I'm from Brazil. It's not an island, it's a much bigger country, so this, that. But we come to find that, the Islander community and the Brazilian community are so similar. And back in the day, a lot of the Islander boys took me in and just helped me through it, man, It's helped me through, even just lining up at the canteen and having the confidence to order a meal with my broken English back then. It was a struggle. But
everyone has trouble with that, like when you're coming from here. But then even back then, there was no stuff to land on to like have a bully service, like helpline or something like that.
Absolutely not. And not only that, like me and my brother were the only Latinos in our school at the time, so it was different too. Like we're dealing with a lot of people that they had their own drama that they brought from their own countries and things like that. We didn't really understand any of that stuff. We came from a place where we thought, man, we're going to leave that drama behind. We're not going to bring that Brazilian drama here. We want to come here. This is our new country. They accepted us. And we want to love and thrive in this place. That's what we've been trying to do ever since.
And I think it would have been different as well because, like you said, in your school where there's other nationalities and probably other people that don't speak English, but they're surrounded by people that speak their language.
Absolutely, man.
You didn't have that luxury.
No, it certainly didn't. So, like, you'd be hanging out, all the Greek boys, be hanging out, eating souvlaki,
just
talking Greek, chopping
just busting out some elador,
and the Lebo boys would be with the Lebos, and chopping it up in their language, and it's all good. Out of that, I got to learn a little bit of
every nationality,
every language and nationality,
and cultures of it as well.
I can take you to Parramatta to some cracker restaurants. We can eat pho, or I can take you to Chinatown and we can eat some Chinese food. I'll take you to,
El Jana styles,
El Jana, Surrey Hills, or heaps of nice Arab food in Surrey Hills these days, and we can get out west.
Mention Greenacre and Lakemba, please. Out west, where we live, where I live.
This is the only place to go get Arab food.
That's a good fresh food out there, man.
Or Eddie's mum's house. Wow, bro,
this still haven't got that
invite. Bro, you're spewing.
It's not an invite, bro.
It's not invite. It's a rock up, straight out. But I'm telling you, I rock up the other day to pick up Eddie. I'm meant to be in and out, bro. We're meant to be in and out.
In and out.
Like Eddie goes, I'll be down in a minute. I go, sweet. By the time I turn around, his mum's busted out the nuts. Like she's poured out a can and busted it open. So I can't say no now. It's open, and she's poured half of it as well, And then and a tuna sandwich is on the way. I'm going to bring it.
They're full of love.
Wow,
bro.
it was
they're
amazing,
full
bro.
Of love.
And that's all nationalities, man. All that nationality.
Absolutely. I mean, I guess you got to open up to them, and they open up to you, and then off you go.
It happens,
I mean,
I guess
food is an international language. innit?
Yeah,
100%, man. It's my language
dropping
for sure.
dimes for it. Yeah. Anthony Bourdain, thank you very much for joining us today.
Peri Bourdain,
Peri
I
Bourdain.
love Anthony Bourdain, man.
God rest in peace.
his soul.
Yeah.
He was a G.
Yeah, no,
Hey,
He was a
just,
kitchen G.
Like I obviously know a little bit of the story, but we not jumping too far ahead because we had you kind of in high school, and it seems like fighting's been there for a while, even in Brazil.
Yes.
So-
yes. I when I was young, growing up in Brazil, I think it was too much for my dad and my mum to handle.
Just too much.
Just too much, man. I was just
Too much,
climbing
you.
shit, and we used to live in a 5-story apartment block, and my dad and my mum sort of separated already, so I used to have that weekend dad, so I was climbing stuff, and I used to get in trouble by my old lady, so I'd run away into the streets, and she couldn't catch me. I was fast.
Yeah.
And my dad, said to her, maybe you should, we should consider maybe putting this guy into some sort of sports or martial arts. And just by chance, right across the road from our house, the apartment block that we used to live in Brazil, was a dojo, a judo dojo. So they threw me in there, man, and I've been doing judo and, mixed martial arts pretty much ever since I was about 3 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, so fought in Brazil, I've had a few fights.
Yeah.
Recently had an MMA fight, and just I'm not trying to be the next Dos Santos. But,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to stay fit and stick around for my kids, and I love the mixed martial arts world. I love the people in it. So yeah, no, it's something I'm real passionate about.
Okay. As someone like you, seem like a relatively calm dude. I know different. No, I'm joking. You seem like a relatively calm dude, and people don't. I feel like there's a misconception of someone that's a fighter, and that it's usually that there's pinned up aggression and they just want to go pummel people's face and get paid for it, sort of thing, or legally do it. Would you say that's anywhere near? Like, what's your version of why you fight?
I guess there probably are fighters that are like that out there, but most people that are into mixed martial arts and in touch with their physical being and their spiritual being.
In a discipline of whatever, in a martial art.
In whatever discipline it is, it could be, Tai Chi.
Yeah, of course, Tai Chi up there. Shouts out to Tai Chi.
They how could I put it? It just neutralizes you, sort of. It's almost like a yoga moment, or how could we say, like
centers you, sort of
it
thing.
Sort of centers you. Yeah, it centers you. It
releases all the energy out of you and all that as well.
And it also makes you see what's important, when you're doing things like that. In life in general, not just in your physical being, but in life in general. What's really important? I can go out there and build the crap out of anyone. What am I really getting out of that?
Yeah. And did you? I'm guessing as school went on, you went from the short little chubby kid in year 7. How did the rest of schooling go?
Yeah, so in school, like in year 7, I was pretty short, chubby, slow. Like I said, like a lot of the Islander boys took me in, and they're like, "Hell yeah, man, you're gonna come play footy with us on the weekend."
Of course.
And then it started from there. I started playing football when I was 13 years old, rugby league at the Elwood Saints.
Shouts out Elwood Saints.
With my boy Shay Keatley Sheridan. Shout out to Shay. And we used to go stay at his house on the weekend with the boys, a few boys from the team. His old man used to fire up the Barbie sausages, and his old man used to also train us. He used to be one of our trainers. And, I fell in love with rugby league, played rugby league with the boys, all the way through to play rugby league in school, played rugby league out of school, had a couple of tryouts for the St. George Dragons. Nice. I played for the Asquith Magpies. Shout out to the Magpies. One of my favourite clubs that I've ever played for. And yeah, man, but I just wasn't, that I wasn't like a star in rugby league. I was tough, but I wasn't like a thriving prospect.
Thriving prospect,
so
nice language.
So to speak.
But do you, like, I picture, okay, you're on the football field and stuff, and by joining a bunch of these other teams and coming from another country, do you feel like that there was a sense of, wait, this is community. This is fitting
absolutely.
in. This is camaraderie.
Absolutely. I've always loved being a part of sports and teams because you get that camaraderie. And I think I was missing that from when I stopped doing the judo in Brazil.
Yeah.
So as soon as I came back to Australia and the boys got me into the rugby league, I just felt the camaraderie, the brotherhood, and all of that again. And I
swap the gi for the shorts.
That's it. Swap the gi for the shorts.
The little shorts.
What was your first game? What position did you play your first game?
And as soon as they looked at me, they said, he's too short and too round, so let's put him up in the front.
You look like a winger, bro. You look like a winger.
Cannon bomb him into the line.
I'll keep up with a winger in the first 10 metres.
In the first 10 metres. If you start on his foot, eh?
I got that diesel engine.
So what was it in Brazil? Were you ever playing soccer on the streets and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, for sure. Man.
So then when you got into football, was it easier to translate? Like, were they just like pick up the ball, run? Like, was it like Forrest Gump style?
Man, not really. It was a little bit difficult because you know when you're playing soccer in Brazil in the streets, you're not getting tackled.
Yeah,
by huge Tongan dudes.
Yeah. Of course. So it's nothing like it then.
Imagine there's Tongan dudes in Brazil.
For sure there's big Tongan dudes in Brazil.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I feel like because you're a big fella, how tall are you?
6'4".
6'4".
135 kilos.
Okay, nice. So you're a small fella.
Yeah, a little.
But I do notice on the soccer field, you got some moves. You can
light on your feet.
It's I got the slave feet.
But
you know what I mean?
it's like this. Perry on the soccer field
feet.
is the best. Like he's actually got footwork. So like he's not gonna out dribble you. Like he's not gonna but he'll dribble around you. Like Zinedine's a down a bit. Like how he slows down the play and it looks like he knows what to do. But where
when fat people fall?
Yeah, wait.
Slow mo.
No, but the best, the best.
Shout out to all the fatties out there. I'm one of them.
The same thing happened last week. We said the same thing
about fatties.
Shout out to the dad bods and that.
Oh yeah. Hey, but the funny thing is when Perry the thing is confidence. When his confidence is shooting up, like he's just done it. He's just dribbled a few people on the last play. Now he'll get in there, bang, bang. He'll start trying to tap into his like 9-year-old brain. His 9-year-old brain. And that's when you can drop the ball and poof, pop that ball. So like you need to just be careful, watch around him, keep him standing there. It's funny. It's good.
All right, let's get to some music and come back. We'll reset again,
Definitely.
And get our bearings
bring it
into
in.
place. This one's called Beautiful Solitude and it's by a guy called Joey Jewish.
So if you guys want to give us a call while we're listening to this song, feel free to call 9550-9552 or check us out online at radioskidrow.org or goodsmoke.com.au. Make sure you like, share, comment and subscribe on all our social media. It's going to be awesome. Radio Skid Row.
Quick shout out to my boy Junior listening this.
Hey,
my cousin Julio Jesus.
Yeah, I met Junior.
Love.
I met Junior on the weekend.
Yeah, he's out.
Son
Man, him and his missus are great people, man.
Yeah, no, they awesome.
I always heard about him. You always talk about him. I never met
course.
him, and I was expecting like 7 foot tall guy. You know what I mean? Just a normal dude.
He's 7 foot tall.
It's
all inside.
Yeah,
for sure. He's a J.
Anyway, it's Radio Skid Row 88.9. Remember that number 9550-9552, and we'll be back. It's a good smoke. It's Radio Skid Row 88.9 and you're tuned in to The Good Smoke. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? And if you haven't tuned in from the beginning of the show, we're in the studio with Peri Santos, locksmith, fighter, family man, father, and champion of the world. What's going on?
Oh, jeez. I'll take that.
Hey, and all-round good radio personality.
I'm just speaking of future events, man. That's
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So, should we go to what happened on the weekend, or should we just keep going?
I feel like we're going right. We keep going.
Okay, let's go. So yeah, you experienced school, and school was a hard time for you.
At the beginning of school.
Yeah.
And then it was a hard time for people.
I think that was a hard time for school after that.
Yeah.
So have you lived all your life out West? Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much, man. We when we first moved in, we moved into Goulburn Street in Petersham.
Okay, so
back in the heyday,
a bit closer. So inner west sort of thing.
Inner west still, and then it's sort of just been all around the area. From Dulwich Hill to Marrickville to Hillston Park to Canterbury to Campsie to Lakemba, Punch Bowl. Just been around that area now. Now I'm living in the eastern suburbs with
kind of eastern.
Sort of eastern, yeah, sort of.
It's
eastern.
more eastern from where you were. Southeast.
Yeah,
southeast, yeah.
Sort of southeastern suburbs.
Yeah.
So when school wasn't on, obviously you met friends on the street.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we were talking in the beginning, our first show, how we used to run amok on the streets and meeting different types of people, and even like growing up and see where they are now.
Yeah.
And the result, like, the seeds that they planted in the beginning.
Yeah.
And no change, nothing like that. And
well, a lot of them are not here anymore.
Yeah, a lot of them not here, RIP, and a lot of them in jail.
Yeah.
Or a lot of them just have gone away from the whole scene and just
absolutely. Unfortunately, you know, it seems like it's the same old story for
the next generation
growing up, especially in the inner west, without good role model father figures, older brother figures, someone just keep them on the straight and narrow. It seems to be the same old story.
It seemed to like accelerate in the time when the show's Underbelly started coming around, you know, and
I think it became cool then.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It
feel like
gangster movies always been around and all that stuff, not to say that.
Yeah.
But I think when it started to have the connect in Australia, where it's home, where there's gangsters in home, as people said, you know, it's all right to now go with this culture and go with it, you know what I mean?
But also, like, I think it was embedded in our culture.
From the
our
beginning.
Australian culture.
From the jump.
For sure. Yeah. But I mean, like, even like the whole that whole period, it ended up closing the cross now, and because of the violence, how bad.
But it also built the cross.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It built it and then it destroyed itself, basically.
People don't know. I don't know. People don't know too much. Well, I don't know everything, and I don't know too much either. But just look at me, and you can tell I don't know too much.
Yeah, you and me both, man.
But you know, it seems like it was the influx of, you know, that white powder when they hit Australia.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So when those South Americanos decided to start setting up,
that's around the time you came, yeah.
When
your mum was working,
So that Woolcock was bringing
wow,
Dr. Woolcock.
Wow.
Oh, I got that Woolcock money.
The doctor. They used to call him
the doctor. The white doctor.
That numbing powder.
Wow.
Mr. Powder, yeah.
Novocaine. Mr. Novocaine.
Yeah, no, but unfortunately that it seems like it was around then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Around that area.
No, for sure. I agree with you. Gangsterism and all that sort of stuff has been around, but that was like in the beginning. It was actually they were real gangsters. Then it became the exterior looking gangsters. Like everyone looked like a gangster.
But can I take it back? Because, like, man, so I think that's like a propaganda aspect a bit. So like you get, I'm not saying that like to the underbellies and stuff. Not saying that wasn't true stories and stuff, but the way he highlighted it almost removes from that Scarface moment where he shot up at the end and dead. You know what I mean? Like it has that
feels like everyone's trying to chase
the Golden Mile, and I know it was tough.
There was only one Scarface.
Yeah, there was only one Scarface. No, but I also feel like it kind of it created a lot of gangsters, like and some that were already like kind of moved forward a bit and became more gangsters. But I also feel like it really highlighted people that weren't really about that life, that wanted to be about that life. Because most gangsters were trying to get out of it and become like legitimate monsters.
You go talk to any real gangster, and you get him in a time where he's in touch with himself, and he'll tell you that he hates that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
He wants out.
He doesn't encourage it. Yeah,
exactly. So
a real gangster doesn't tell his kids to go and be a gangster.
Yeah,
you know? I guess the exact same thing.
And you don't really know he's a gangster. Someone else will tell you he's a gangster. You know what I mean? A gangster.
That's right. A gangster's not going to come up to
you. I'm a gangster. I'm doing illegal stuff. Yeah.
Look at me. Well, some of them do that.
There is.
Look at
me. And then that guy doesn't last long though. But anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, like, not that I know anyway. I'm just trying to say that the friends that you hang out with, and even like I can talk for myself. Like, man, I could have gone easily to another road, easily down another path. Yeah. Thanks to God and thanks to my parents. You know what I mean? How did you survive that, man? Because I'm just picturing it as you're coming from another country. And if one of those guys picked you up, you would have probably accepted that so easily.
Okay, before we get into that, what I want Peri to highlight is along the same road, but your options weren't the same as every individual growing up. Like, so out of high school, even myself, I had a better chance than Peri in employment. So there was a season, and this isn't to diss on Peri or anything like that, but even there was some people that I knew that wouldn't hire him, even though they knew he was an awesome guy, hard worker, but he looked too intimidating.
Yeah.
And so the guy was boxed into one of two choices. Security guard life, which isn't bad. I got my security license. You got your security license, Eddie. But you felt like did you feel like that there was many options?
Not in the very beginning.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when you're young, you're immature, you're small-minded.
Yeah.
In the very beginning, I didn't see no options.
Yeah.
So
And it wasn't from lack of trying.
No, definitely not for the lack of trying. Because I come from a very hardworking family.
Yeah.
Both my parents are doctors.
Yeah.
They're both very
One's a
hardworking.
neurosurgeon, one's a lung specialist.
That's correct. So hard work is...
So not small doctors. But
Yeah, no, they're full-on doctors. So hard work's built in.
Yeah.
It's built in. It's in the bloodline. But it was definitely hard to find something. You know, I kept getting like laundromat jobs and, you know, concrete or labourer for a day here and that. But that's also because I was uneducated, man.
Yeah.
I come straight out of high school and I was expecting the world, you know. But that's not how life is.
Yeah.
But, you know, just to...
You didn't get anything out of high school?
I just got my high school certificate. You know, I done my HSC.
But like knowledge in the head on science.
Man, you know what? I don't... Look,
You learn a lot of wrong things.
You learn a lot in high school, you know. I wish they maybe taught me a little bit more about how the real world worked, you know, sort of like banking and paying bills and things like that.
Cleaning your
I feel like
clothes,
high school is probably a little vacation, you know, a little day vacation.
Yeah.
There's probably too many kids
Yeah.
in a classroom, one
Like a
teacher
big
that doesn't really give
preschool,
a crap, you know.
Yeah. No.
Sort
I
of
know.
thing. So you sort of just shaped into it, man. They just, you know, you're a sheep in high school. And it's up to you to make your own choices. And I learned that much later on in life, you know. I look back now and I think, fuck, I'm 10, 20 years behind a lot of my mates, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how I feel, at least. A lot of them be come up to me like, "No, man, you're doing great. You're killing it. This, that. You know, you got your job, you got your career, you got your family." So I'm rich in many ways, but then I look back at some of my mates, I'm like, yeah, man, but that guy's got two houses and a business. And,
See, but you know...
Why can't one of the ways be that way?
no one's ever happy, eh? Like,
no, we always think the grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah, for
Get
sure.
to the other side and we hit that concrete slab. And we're like, oh, let me back to my yard.
No, for sure, because you, like, someone probably look at you and go, oh, look at this guy, he's just humble, he's got 2 kids, he's got a missus.
He's doing great.
Shout out to my
great.
kids and missus, by the way, Mariana.
Yeah, shout out to them. But yeah, like they look at you, and if you're looking at the Facebook post and you're just looking at the good moments, they're gonna think, man, this guy's he's settled, he's content.
Yeah,
and then you're probably looking at his Facebook. And
definitely, that's
bro,
why
he's rolling in yachts and cars.
That's why that Facebook.
Those Facebooks are competing with each other.
Yeah, no, I know. Like,
I don't do Facebook, by the way. I don't do any of that.
Yeah,
social.
Probably a good thing, man. We only do it just to get the word out, like this sort of stuff. You know what I mean?
Don't judge us, Peri. Right?
There's no judgment.
I can feel it.
Can you feel it? Yeah.
I felt it. If you felt it too, remember that number 955. I don't want to be wrong here. No. Okay, so like, my question was like, meeting the guys on the street, and meeting guys like outside of school. What was it like, you know, rolling with those guys?
Man, like, so once I was alright throughout school, you know, and I met some people in the streets, and you know, you hang out at some certain places back in the day, especially, you know, like used to hang out, you know, early 2000 at a pool hall called La Hoods in Campsie, you know, and that was like the place to be if you wanted to get in trouble. If you want to get in trouble, just come over here for a couple of hours. And so, you know, I ended up meeting a lot of dudes and a lot of bad dudes and a lot of cool cats. And eventually, you know, you just end up clicking up with someone and...
It goes back to that community thing again, like
again, it's the whole thing
brothers.
again, you know, like the boys wanting to be boys and wanting to be a part of something and accepted and you know, all of that. So I clicked up with these boys and you know, we got up to no good, and you know, I had a lot of my friends that are doing big stretches in jail at the moment, you know. Not gonna name any names, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. But shout out to them if they're listening.
Shout out to them if they're listening, you know. I always keep them in my prayers. We all make mistakes, and a lot of these boys, unfortunately, only realised that they were going down the wrong path once they were already behind bars.
Yeah.
Did you ever, like, when you found out the news about your friends, we ever, like, had a moment where, like, man, that could have been me?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I had another cousin here. Me and Brenna, we had another cousin here, and his name was Arthur. And he passed away, so God rest his soul. But when, you know, throughout our teenage years, me and Brenno in our early 20s, we, you know, we used to go out and get into trouble, you know, get into fights and, you know, all sorts of
Without incriminating. You know how some people talk about, oh yeah, I used to do that, and rappers talk about what they used to do. I used to slang this, whatever.
Put themselves in jail.
There's actually things that me and Peri we actually can't talk about because like it can still incriminate us. So when we Peri talk about,
definitely can't talk about some stuff. But look, nonetheless, we'll push through.
Yeah, push through.
Try to be as honest as we can. You know, our cousin ended up pushing the envelope a little bit more. And you know, he ended up going to Goldman Supermax for about
5.5.
5.5, but I think he ended up doing about 7 or 8 years because of
stretching silver.
Yeah, not being a good boy inside as well. Sort of didn't help him out, you know. So he ended up getting some extra time, and then after that he got deported to Brazil. You know, me and Breno went through a lot in those 6 years. We you know, we went through a lot as a family. You know, it costed us a lot of money.
Time, effort. But
the reasons why he was in there, you know, was it was shameful things. You know, I mean, we're not talking any sex crimes or anything like that. We're talking about hardened gangster doing hardened gangster things. You know, so.
And some of them just sound stupid sometimes.
No,
you know?
The only reason I'm asking this is because this guy's listening. Like I know for sure that are listening and they're like doing things they shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
And I just want them to know, like, man,
we've been there.
Yeah, like I don't want you to go that, and like they're in a mature state of their life as well, and and I understand the situations like where they're stuck and they don't know what to do. You know, like
there's always a way out.
There's that quick money to get, and, you know, to help someone out, or you know what I mean.
I was stuck big time. You know, I was stuck in a little room full of drugs, guns, money, girls. You know, and I felt like I had all the boys with me. You know, we're partying, we're getting on it, we're making a day out of it, and this huge loneliness comes like a wave crashing over my shoulders, and it doesn't just happen to me. I've spoken to a lot of other boys that were in the same lifestyle, and it happens to them as well. They get this crazy loneliness, you know, and it can make you cry in a room full of friends.
Yeah, for sure.
Feel lonely,
You feel so lonely, bro. So, like, when you start getting that, you know, you start getting that fight within yourself between good and bad, you know, do I want to stay doing this for the rest of my life, or why can't I just be a normal bloke? If you reach out, man, reach out to someone, reach out to God. That's what I did. I reached out to the Lord, and the Lord saved me. But just reach out to anyone. You know, if you just find a good bloke with a good head on his shoulder, and you know, and he's been trying to help you, and he's always asking you, "Hey, mate, how you going?"
Give him a
reach
chance.
out to that bloke. Yeah. You know, tell him, "Man, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I want out. Help me."
And sometimes I guarantee it's not always easy, because like I feel some cats actually reach out, but it's just like in our own lives without necessarily just doing bad things. Even when you're attempting something good, I feel like you might, like the gym, you might keep it up for 2 weeks, then after a while you're just like, you know, you get straight back into it, you know, because it's almost
that lifestyle is a very easy lifestyle to fall back into. It's easy money. You know, it's easy money for hardly any work. So.
But for sure, there has to be some sort of like a paranoia about it.
Certainly, man.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
That's half of it. You know,
but
paranoia.
Is it worth it now, looking back?
But I feel like it triggers other things.
I feel like, you know, I'll probably age 30 years in 5 years because of paranoia and sitting, watching, you know, who's driving past and cops and, you know, points in my life where, you know, I had 2-3 warrants out for my arrest and just feel terrible. You know, now that I look back at it, I sometimes get the shakes, or I start getting anxiety just thinking about some of the stuff that we used to do. Just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Gives me anxiety.
Like with this change, like your mind being changed now.
Yeah, mind being changed.
And going back and
I was sick, man. I was sick. That gangster mentality, that whole thing is a sickness. It's an illness.
Yeah, you always view it as a sickness, eh?
That's how I view it, at least. You know, I wouldn't be angry with someone because they were diabetic. So I'm not going to be angry with a gangster because he's living that lifestyle. I'm just going to try to help him because I've been there.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's my calling. Since I've been there and I've dealt with these people, I can maybe help them. Maybe they can listen to me because I maybe hold some sort of respect. Was it a time in your life where you're like, oh yeah, I'm initiated now, I joined? Or was it like, did you just grow up with boys and then eventually just became a gang or like a group of people? With the clique that I was running with, they were like well established, man. You know, I had no idea how here in Sydney, Australia, in the inner west, how well established some of these people and organisations and organised little cliques in the street are. They're for real. It's not a joke. You know, people think it's a joke. Oh yeah, call the pot run. It's a joke. No, it's for real. It's much bigger than the pot run. It's much bigger than, you know, whoever you're calling.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, when I first got with the boys, I was no one. You have to prove yourself. You know, I had all the boys try to test me out. You know, we might all be hanging out in the garage having a smoke. Some boy might test me out. Yeah, come outside, 1-on-1, this, that. You got to go, man. If you're hanging out with the wolves, you got to be a wolf yourself. Otherwise, you're going to get eaten. So I slowly became the bigger wolf. You know, and that's it. You know, I'm no top dog. I'm no shot caller. I don't have a pack of boys behind me, but you know, I can take you to some places in Belmore, and the boys will open up because I got that respect. I can take you to Cabramatta. I can take you see some boys in Fairfield, you know, and they'll open up just because I got that respect. They'll talk. You know, with me and Brent have been talking about maybe doing a documentary or something like that.
Just obviously not implying anyone.
No, maybe just to show the world, you know, open up the doors and show the world what's really going on.
The thing is, like, I could sort of relate in the way that when I was growing up in my where I live, and my parents, like, because we have like there's like little flats there that people rent out, and just all different nationalities, you know, and you had the good ones and the bad ones, like the people that you've been talking about as well, but. And it changes your character, man. Like it teaches you a lot of stuff, meeting a lot of different people. You know what I mean? Were you ever conscious, like, man, I'm changing from this innocent little Brazilian kid, like, you know, I got a family, you know, and did you see yourself like, now I've got this attitude, or I got whatever it is? Did you see yourself transition into that?
I didn't, but people did.
And they tell you anything about it?
Yeah, people did. You know, I had people that have known me since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Come up to me and say, you know, what's wrong with you? I look at you and something's wrong. It feels like, you know, you've lost your innocence. You don't smile. You don't do this. You don't do that. And it's because I was going through something. I was sick, like I was saying.
And when they said that to you, would you be like, what are you talking about? Or would you regret it? Or were you like thinking, oh, maybe I have?
I knew I had.
Yeah.
You know, but I just couldn't see it because I was blind. I was blinded by the moment.
I actually remember one time when you were still living in Dulwich Hill. And it was actually a bunch of family friends. We met at the park at the front, and it was super low key. We kept it without like, we never drank or partied anything like that amongst our little Brazilian community that we had. But I remember there was this one tense moment where I looked at you and I think like, oh my God, I really felt like this guy is angrier than he used to be. And when I say angry, it wasn't just like he was fed up and pissed off at anyone. It's just that his ability to go 0 to 100 was now one of control, like one that he was in control of. You know what I mean?
He could turn it on.
He could turn it on and turn it off, and that was already like, I knew then, and that was early days. I was about 15, 16, where he was already heading to the way where being that tougher, angrier, stauncher bloke was opening more doors for him than being just a nice Peri. You know what I mean? And I felt, would you agree?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Probably right, you know, because once, you know, you get that rep, you know, you're a head knocker. You know, people come up to you and they're like, hey, man, you want to hang out? Or you want to come to our parties? Be friends with us? You want to join up with us? Patch up with us? And things like that. So maybe.
Interesting, man.
But you know what? It's probably not only me that went through it.
Oh no,
you know,
definitely.
I'd say probably all big boys. Anyone that's 5'4" and can throw them has probably been
6'4". 6'4".
Sorry, 6'4" or 5'4".
Yeah, no, bro. There's some
and can throw them. You know, and they got a bit of street rep. They've probably been approached to do something in their area by whoever's pushing it in their area.
Me and you have talked about this before, that it's not like that sort of sickness feeling isn't always biased. It doesn't choose just the hardship guy. It doesn't choose just the big dude. It doesn't choose the guy that is always the toughest. It could be a little fella and he's just a G in the mind, knows how to be a criminal mastermind.
Yeah,
something
no,
like
absolutely.
He's a hustler to it.
You know, some of the I've met some real AGs that, you know, they're 5 foot.
Yeah, I know. And
they're pushing 5 foot. On their tallest day, they're 5 foot. But,
and they command 9 feet tall, eh?
5 foot with shoes on.
You sit down and you talk to some of these cats, you know, and they're telling you, yeah, no, you know, I've done 7-year stretch in Mexico, and, you know, I've done a 7-year stretch in El Salvador, and you're like, holy crap. How you still alive? You're 5 foot. You're a 5 foot beast.
Yeah, no, I know.
But you hear about those stories as well.
Guarantee there's parents out there that will like telling their kids like, you're changed. Like these kids are changed. Don't hang out with these kids. You know how hard it is for. I can only imagine now looking back with my parents telling me don't hang out with these guys because they're bad. Blah blah blah. How hard is it to tell your kid? Don't hang out with these bad guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, because I feel like
you just found the group.
As a parent now, I'm a parent now. I've got 2
that's
kids,
right.
But I feel like the moment you tell your kids don't go and hang out over there, they're gonna go hang out over there.
Yeah, it's kind of like that forbidden fruit thing. Yeah,
it's the forbidden fruit.
But
I feel like you got to explain to your kids why you don't want them to hang out over there. And the consequences of hanging out over there.
And sometimes they learn by themselves without you needing to tell them to go there. You know, they just start saying, But when you tell them to no, they'll go, no. Now they're doing like in a rebellious nature. But what me and Peri talked about before is we noticed in our lives what we had with a single mum that's a hard worker and got 2 jobs. We had free time. We had all the time in the world to let the streets raise us to do whatever we want, you know? So, like, not having that many male role models around, at least ones that we feel like we can respect.
So you're a young kid, you know, 15, 14, you hit the streets and who drives past in a nice WRX with the gold chains with the nice girls? I mean, that's the guy you're going to look up to, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not your stepdad coming home after a 16-hour day trucking all day interstate.
Doesn't talk to you.
Comes home tired, just wants to sleep. Yeah. I mean, he really is the role model, paying the bills, putting you through school and all that. But I'm looking up to, you know, Joe Blow next door with his WRX and his new TNs and shit like that.
And that's unfortunate because I don't think it's necessarily nature nurture. Like, so you could I don't think it's necessarily just some parent not going, oh, don't hang around with them or allowing them to hang around with them. I feel like when we have our free time, so a lot of parents, I know when we were growing up, there was heaps working so hard to put food on the table and to bring presents, but never having their presence around. And so what we actually needed was them being around.
Yeah.
But they needed to do what they needed to do from work, and we understand that there's bills. You can't blame them, you know. And I just like want to encourage any like parents out there that really don't need to be working 9 to 5, 60 hours a week, and you got some kids, because like the investment that they can have in them is so much more if they are just a lot more present than giving your kids what you never had. Teach them what you weren't taught, you know, so that when you give them that you never had, they can keep it, as opposed to lose it down the road because they were never taught how to keep something.
It's a thin line, man, because then that parent that never had nothing gives everything to the kid, and he doesn't even learn. You know what I mean?
Becomes a pendulum
line.
You know, like exactly, like you don't know, like you like you said, like you can't explain it and everything, and then give them everything they want. Then it seems like they're not really like losing anything by not going there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, there's some sort of like tough love that you need to do with your kids.
Absolutely. Look, you've got to be a parent. You've got to be a parent. A parent is a parent, but you also have to be a friend.
But this is what I feel like it goes like when Peri was saying, teach them and stuff like that.
Yeah. You also have to be a friend. If you're a parent all the time and never a friend, they can never come to you and tell you things that they will tell their friends, because they're not going to tell their parents that. But if you're a friend sometimes and they catch you in that friend moment, they'll tell you certain things.
Trust you.
They'll trust you. And you can't break that trust. You can't, when you're having that friend moment, when they're opening up to you about something, you can't turn to a parent then. You can, I can't believe Jenny showed you her bits. Or whatever.
Poor Jenny.
Or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jenny, by the way. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But no,
when you're a parent, you're a parent. And when you're a friend, you're a friend.
Yeah. Does that scare you to think the times that you're going to get... Because you're raising two half Greek, half Brazilian boys that, I don't know.
Shout out to my helados.
Is your little helados? Yeah. I feel like...
look, I got 2 little boys. I got a 3-year-old and I got a 2-year-old. Gabriel's 3 and Elijah's 2.
And the 2-year-old could run his own family in New York. Like the way he's like,
Little man.
got such a mafioso.
So
does
cute.
he? Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's like a little soprano.
Which one's it?
Full little
My
soprano.
little 2-year-old. You know?
Elijah.
Oh, Elijah.
Little
I haven't met
Elijah.
Elijah. I only met Gabriel.
Yeah, bro.
Even Gabriel, he's fearless, that one.
Nah.
Yeah, no, look, they're both they're both tough boys.
Yeah.
You know, I think
Yeah.
they got a bit of that 300 Spartan in.
Mixed with a bit of capoeira.
Yeah.
It's a good mix. Good mix.
But they're lovely boys, man. They're so happy.
Yeah.
You know, they're not angry. They're not violent. They're just
Yeah.
happy. They want to play. They want to jump on you. They want to kiss you, cuddle
Yeah.
you. They dribble all over you.
Yeah.
A couple little dopamines, you know, they're dribbling all over you.
It's
all the
still the beginning, though, man.
time. Yeah.
Man, it's
That's
weird
the-
how things change. Like even how you see your kids are gonna change. Even though like a lot of parents say, "Oh, I still see him as a little kid." At one point, your little kid's gonna be having his own kids. You know, and
Yeah.
it's like hard to see that as a little.
It's exciting
too.
for me. Like, I can't wait.
Yeah?
Like, I always keep trying to, you know, like, I can't wait till, you know, they're 5 or till they're 10 or till they're 15 so I can start doing things with them. But now what I'm realizing more is like, I'm just trying to enjoy the time I spend with them now.
Yeah.
Right, this
Now, I
second,
can't
yeah.
wait till now. You know, I'll go home after this and we're going to have a big old wrestle.
Yeah.
I'll get
Yeah.
them on the floor, we'll do a bit of Brazilian
Yeah,
Jiu-Jitsu, you know.
Yeah.
Get
all
him
of
with
that
the lock.
stuff. Yeah, always.
No, that's
I
legit,
love it.
man.
And that's even another transition as well, man. With getting kids, like having that first kid. What was that like? Like, you know, you went from this, you can almost say like freaking fighter, animal, street fight, whatever, to like now you got a missus and a kid. Has that calmed you down?
No, it was, man, it was, to blatantly put it and without sounding like a weirdo,
Yeah.
Do it.
I didn't do anything. I simply, like I was saying to you before, and we went on that break, I was sitting in this room with all the drugs and the guns and the girls, and I felt this crazy loneliness come over me, and I almost started to cry. And I went into the other room and I said, because we grew up in the church, right? So I said, God, if all that shit that I heard in Sunday school and church, if that shit was real, I said, come save me, because I don't want to live this life no more. And instantly, man, I felt this this hand grab me, and I thought it was one of the girls that was with me. I turned around, there was no one there. And I felt this weight come off my shoulder. And it felt like all the problems I had, court cases, you know, my cousin getting deported, all the problems that I had at the time, none of it mattered no more, you know. And from that day onwards, I've been chasing that high that from when the Lord touched me. And I get that high like when I'm talking about it, like right now, or when I'm talking to people on the streets, like trying to get boys to stop doing naughty things on the streets.
And when
I get that high.
And when you get to look back, because like from where you were to where you are now, you point back to that day, and like not necessarily that's when it all changed, but you believe that God heard your prayer that day.
Certainly, yeah. I full on believe that God heard my prayer. And not only did he hear my prayer, but he acknowledged it. But what I needed to do first, I feel like I needed to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
So I felt like I needed to just come clean about everything that I was doing and acknowledge that I was wrong and that I needed to change. And sometimes pride gets in the way, and it's hard to do that, you know?
Yeah.
It's hard to say that you're wrong.
So you said you had some people that you could tell that they'd come up with you, and some probably didn't even come up to you, where they could tell. Some actually came up to me and were like, "How's that Peri fella doing? You know, is he okay? Like, what? You know, like, was it weird to see those same people you heard about or that confronted you, like now giving you absolute props, like and hella respect?"
Because like I was saying, right, you're in a room full of wolves,
Yeah.
and then you come out with that Jesus shit, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're doing pretty much that. We're playing the devil's game here. We're rushing roulette in it. And then you come out with that Jesus shit. So a lot of the boys jump back, you know? They're like,
They're free. Yeah.
when I turn around and say, hey, man, I'm, you know, and especially me, like, I was like, you know, they're sort of looking up to me, like, what are we going to do? You know, like, what are we, you know, we got to do this, we got to do that. Peri, what are we going to do? And I'll be like, I don't know what you guys are going to do, but I'm going home to my mum's house with not $1 in my pocket. I don't want nothing. I don't want money. I don't want drugs. I don't want guns. I want nothing. I'll give it all back to you guys. And whoever wants to come with me, man, I'm going to Jesus. And blokes were laughing.
Yeah,
and
wow,
blokes,
yeah,
you know,
for
like,
sure, bro.
blokes tripped out. A couple of blokes, when I was walking out, grabbed me and said, take me with you.
Swear.
I swear. couple blokes. Like,
Because it's too hard. It's really hard, bro.
it's for real, cuz.
Yeah, it's not
real.
But even them saying, take me with you, it's almost saying, I can't go, drag me out. You get me?
Some of these boys that I'm like, we're talking about, like, some of these boys seen it, bro. Like, we're talking about, we're in the, like, we be, like, I'll give you a story. We'll be in the car, you know, and, you know, another car pulls up and pumps 2, 12 gauge shotguns bullets at us. And the bullets go through the car. And we all jump out to see who it's hit. And it's hit none of us. And they went from my door. I'm 6'4", 150 kilos then.
The bullet stepped you.
Yeah, like, how could it? So
Yeah.
a lot of the boys, they seen weird shit happen, like we do a big deal or something, and then all of a sudden 5, 6 cop cars are behind us. They all pull us over, and then they all leave. So just weird shit.
And even like,
unexplainable shit.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's massive. I was gonna start telling stories that you can't tell. No, but yeah, that's gnarly, bro. Because you can't, in those moments, you can't deny those things. Like your brain can go, oh, what if, kind of, but ultimately, you either could be in handcuffs or you're dead, but you're not.
Yeah, and some of the boys that seen that shit, they were like, yeah, no, take me with you. Or some of the boys took them, a few days. And some of the boys changed their lives. Some of the boys didn't. Some of the boys are no longer with us. Some of the boys are, doing big times. Some of the boys are never to be released.
But would you not necessarily agree with this, but would you say that there's a little bit of truth to this? A lot of people have talked to me about how people that go to church and Christians, how they know God, or not necessarily just Christians, but any people that actually attend some sort of building or organized religion like that they know God. But I found sometimes when I'm surrounded by a bunch of people that really do some gnarly shit on the day-to-day, gangsters, as you say, you find that they are in no denial of God's existence. Whether they follow him or they like him, or they ultimately recognize that
because if you dance with the devil, then you know that God exists.
Yeah, I know, and that's what used to freak me out. That a lot of the most conscious, deep conversations about God and an understanding of God that I haven't heard from anyone else, has come from people that I don't know where they're at right now. If you know what I'm saying,
yeah. Yeah. So definitely. Look, people that dance with the devil know that the Lord exists.
Yeah.
Sometimes even the hardest guy, man, he's got the softest heart.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? Even all those UFC fighters, they might be hard in the cage, but they got families, and when they see them with their kids and their daughter,
man. Absolutely. And look, some people had real hard lives too.
Exactly.
There's a guy, his name's Johnny Tapia. God rest his soul. He passed away. He used to be a boxer back in the day. And my boy Sam Kai put me onto him. Shout out to Sam Kai. Super fights champion, heavyweight. And this guy, Johnny Tapia, he grew up and his mum was murdered. She was stabbed 25 times and he just had the worst life. He got passed around homes, abused, physically, sexually, mentally, and ended up, becoming one of the greatest boxers, Mexican-American boxers. He was boxing out of, I think it was New Mexico, in the States, and he became one of those Cinderella stories. And he had his problems with drugs, and he fell, and he came back, and he won. And I just encourage anyone to YouTube this guy, Johnny Tapia, or read his books, his biography, just to get a feel for how you can change your own life. You don't have to keep living a terrible life if you don't want to. Yeah, it's up to you.
You don't need. I heard this sentence this week. You don't need to let your past actually define your future.
No.
So, and a lot of people think man, look back and go man, it's inevitable. I'm heading the way I'm heading.
You can change it. You can change it, man. It's up to you.
It's just hard, man.
It's very hard. No, it's very hard. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying for the brother that's got the needle in his arm that it's going to be easy to get off it. But you can do it, bro.
But even the ones that are not even on it or anything, but they're working in that life as well. they've got themselves in a position where
they don't. We don't like when I was I didn't see a way out. Like
Yeah,
some days I used to pray to get arrested for the cops to just fucking hurry up and raid me and take me to jail, because that way I can get a fresh start. That way that life's over. Let's start again.
Yeah, no.
But that's not the only way. So if you think that's the only way for you, I'm here to tell you that it's not. There's more ways than just that.
No, for sure. I agree with that, man. It's just hard, man. Sometimes it's when you're in the dark, you can't see. But
yeah, no, absolutely.
There's always that little light, pin drop light in the background. Listen, let's go play some songs. I'll play about 2 or 3 songs.
We'll get back
then
to
we
it.
Then we're going to wrap up at 8 o'clock, so it's 7:38 at the moment. Let's play some music and come back and let's talk about some your fighting experience and get into fighting. It's Radio Skid Row 88.9. This one here is called I Got the Juice. Do you want to do a shout out to someone?
Shout out to my little brother Isaac. It's his favorite song.
Shout out to
I'm gonna play it at his wedding.
Shout out to the boys at Redmond Lane in Belmore.
RML.
The RML boys, and shout out to the boys from WF O'Brien's.
It's Radio Skid Row. You're listening to Good Smoke. It's Radio Skid Row 88.9, and you're listening to Good Smoke. How are you, ladies and gentlemen? Remember that number 95509552 and www.goodsmoke.com.au and www.radioskidrow.org. I'm just doing a lot of things at once.
Do you reckon at one time they're going to get rid of the WWWs just to go, look, just good, because I think everyone gets those WWWs. Like, even so annoying to say. I want to say it one more time. WWW. Go try it, Perry.
WWW.
It's retarded.
Listen, guys, we've got about 10-15 minutes left. We're going to cut it at 8 o'clock because we've got the Gunner Boys next. But
Gunner Boys, I want to hang out with the Gunner Boys.
Oh, they're awesome.
They're awesome. Cool. You'll meet them now when they come through. But
fire.
Yeah, man, this has been a very good conversation, and I want this to go longer, to be honest, because there's so much to dig into. But
we'll do a part 2.
Yeah, we'll do it. Well, no, for sure. Maybe come in next week. So on Saturday, me and Breno, we rocked up to an event that Peri fought at, and it was very exciting, very, very entertaining, and I was very surprised that I think personally I got my money's worth, because all the fights were pretty top notch. Like,
no, it was a quality performance from everyone. Like I
thought so too.
Yeah,
it was entertaining,
very entertaining, man. And I think because it was MMA, because I've been to a boxing match. I don't know if you know South Juniors. They used to put them on there,
yeah.
And sometimes they can be very, very boring and dragging.
Yeah,
and you hear echoes of people screaming and nothing's happening. But this. Right. Like within about, say, 15, 20 seconds, bang, someone was either on the floor, there was a punch in the head or something happened,
But even with the ground game, like sometimes ground games gets a bit boring.
Yeah.
But no, the whole it seemed like the whole room was onto their ground game, so everyone was everyone.
Shout out to the boys from Super Fights.
Yeah.
That's who we're talking about.
Yeah,
Luke Pizzuti.
Nice.
And the boys from the Lions Den.
Yeah,
the boys. Man, I just got to say before we get into your fight, man, the last guy at the end, that guys that fought for the Lions Den.
Andrew?
The very last
guy.
So that was Andrew Mills and Francis. I forget his surname now.
I had the shit as well. Who was fighting for you guys?
No, they're not about.
It wasn't in your gym?
No, they're not. One's from Peroshi Gym, I think, and the other one's from Gracie Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay, who's the one?
I might be wrong. Yeah.
Who's the one without the beard?
Andrew Mills, the champion, who was defending his belt.
Yeah,
he's from the Lions.
But that guy,
no, he's not from the Lions Den. He's from the Peroshi.
Oh, you said he's your mate.
Andrew Mills is he's just such an animal.
I'm telling you now, man. This guy, if anyone loves fighting and wants to see up and comings and all this guy's to watch out for. He's a battler, man.
Absolutely. Look, there's a few boys over there, the Peroshi gym that are really good. There's another gentleman by the name of Nelson. He's also holding a belt at the moment, and they're just absolute incredible martial artists.
Yeah.
And they've got the heart of lions.
Man, he had a calmness about him when he was fighting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he had a calmness.
So calm. Yeah, it's a great gym out
there.
But
the calmness helped him out towards the end of the fight.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
like you could just see his demeanor didn't change.
And David Francis. The opponent was David Francis. Also another excellent martial artist, mixed martial artist.
Yeah, respect to all those guys who fought that night. It takes a lot to get up into the ring. But as for you, man, was this your first?
This was my first cage fight.
Ever cage fight.
My first cage fight. I've had plenty of judo fights, a few boxing bouts, but my first cage fight.
Yeah.
And
it's just all mixed martial arts.
Mixed martial arts. I've been training, the mixed martial arts over there at Kingsgrove at the Lions Den with Luke Pizzuti on and off. I think now for about 4 years. I've had a couple of niggling injuries. Unfortunately, I re-injured myself on Friday night. Tore my meniscus.
You done the Santos?
Sorry?
You done the
I done the Santos. I done the Thiago Santos a day before he did his. So we're just now we're on the mend, on the bounce back, and we'll see how we go.
So just curious, bro, because like people see other people in the ring or in the cage, and I don't know if some people find it easy or hard. But what was it like for your journey? Like, what was your journey from when you found out you were going to fight, or the possibility that there could be a fight coming up?
I wasn't particular. I'm not trying to become a fighter or a super heavyweight contender for the belt. I originally just started to train, and I just wanted to get fit and healthy so I can stick around for the kids.
Yeah.
And one thing led to another, and my coach came up to me 2 weeks prior before the fight, and he said, "Hey, we're a bit short on the card, and do you want to have a fight pretty much in 2 weeks?" So after I shat myself for a little bit, I pulled myself together and
wiped yourself up.
Yeah, wiped myself up, threw my undies away, and I called my coach up and I said, "Yeah, set up the fight." And the rest is history. I fought a gentleman from Melbourne. His name is Rion Mejia.
Shout out to Rion.
Shout out to Rion for taking the fight as well in 2 weeks. An absolute beast of a wrestler, by the way, may I add. Had me on the ground, gave me that ground and pound game. Unfortunately, I couldn't keep it up just because of my leg. I couldn't put any weight on it.
You couldn't stand.
I couldn't stand. And once I tore that meniscus, I just felt like I had a metal bar between my legs, between my femur bone and my calf bone. It was just so painful. I bursted out into tears like a little girl in the changing room after, in pain, and also just because I've done this injury before and it takes a lot to come back. So I was just so devastated.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'll be graceful in defeat as well. Rion was the better fighter on the night, and shout out to him.
Yeah. No, for me, it was, I love the experience, man. I think it was my first time going to an MMA mixed martial arts fight, and just being able to get access in the back and seeing all the fighters, their preparation, and how you guys bond with each other and, try to encourage each other, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And see how,
it's a family, man.
Yeah,
the MMA community is a family, man.
I just never seen it, and just been a fly on the wall sort of thing.
Yeah.
The little entries people coming out to, and just everyone committed and that's there, committed and involved in it. Yeah. They actually did their parts, from the announcer to even to the showgirls, and the crowd did their job too. It wasn't no fights. I was expecting there's going to be a mess.
It's not a people. I feel like there's this view of it that it's like this toxic, macho, masochistic sort of thing, where everyone's just whatever. Like
road raged all the time.
Yeah, like everyone's just like looking for a fight. Everyone's staring each other out, and man, it's really eye-opening how much there aren't too many egos in the room unless they're in the cage. But even then, there's usually isn't many egos in the cage either.
Yeah.
It's only when you get to the McGregor.
All those guys lose quick. The egotistical.
Unless you're McGregor, but you don't lose quick. You just lose.
Yeah.
Or unless you're Ben Askren, you lose in 5 seconds at the end. Far out. Did you watch that, Eddie?
No. Oh, I think you showed me.
Yeah.
Is that the hammer guy?
Jorge Masvidal.
Jorge Masvidal. No.
I know why we call him Jorge. It's George.
Yeah,
George Masvidal.
He's a Latino for some sorts. But yeah, George Masvidal. He UFC record.
Flying knee to the
head.
Askren.
Ben Askren. And Ben Askren's undefeated over 20 fights. Was a champion in Pride or what's the other?
He's been a champion in a few other promotions. Yeah, but once he got to the big boy promotion, he just...
Bro, but George Masvidal is the same guy that had a fight after his fight. While he's having an interview, someone said something to him while he was walking past. And
they fought him.
And he just went up to him, talked to him, bang, and threw a few and just like... tripped everyone out because of how much this guy's a legit fighter, right?
Yeah.
And
But George Masvidal's been doing this for a long time. I've been following George Masvidal since the early 2000s when he used to be on the Kimbo Slice DVD.
Back then,
in the day,
And so he's made it from street ball all the way to UFC to now he's going to most likely fight for the title. But he's also made it famous in the UFC world because you know how some people aren't about it? Like, you might be a fighter, but you're not the complete package, or you might get a fighter that's got a bit of a mouth, but he can't throw or whatever. So this guy, ground game, stand-up game, and then his mouth, bro. He's like McGregor, but tougher, I feel like. So McGregor will be smart. So like George Masvidal says stuff like...
He's a smart ass because he's a street.
But he's that weird smart ass where he goes... So he talks about that interview that he started a fight at, where he talks about it in another interview. He mentions it and it went viral, where he goes, so I just gave him that 3-piece and a soda. He calls this little 1-2 combo that he gives the guy a 3-piece and a soda. Like, that's how much this guy talks about. Like, fighting is just normal for him, you know what I mean? Like, 3-piece and a soda.
It's his living. It's his life.
It's his living,
yeah,
110%. He lives, breathes it.
All right, guys. I want to keep going on about the fight. We only got 2 minutes. Listen, I just want to ask one more question. In the end of the fight, first time I ever seen it, it was raw, real, and I feel like it was a good moment for you. Was at the end being emotional, man? Like, what was that like, going through that like storm of emotion after a fight?
Man, you know what? It's funny you say that because I was actually a bit embarrassed about it, but I just couldn't hang on to it. I've been, I trained hard. You hadn't
slept in 3 days.
I was sweating in my bed. I hadn't slept. I've been training hard. I've been running hard. And just, I felt like I probably had the better of the fighter. Although he did take me down twice, I felt like I was defending the takedowns pretty good, and he definitely didn't want no bar of the stand-up with me. But it was just so disappointing to lose because my knee blew out.
Yeah,
and,
I know.
And
it wasn't for actual.
I'd prefer, like, maybe I preferred if he just ground and pounded me out. The referee jumped in and that's it, called the fight, because I'll be gracious in defeat. I'm all right to lose. I've lost before. I'll probably lose again.
This is almost by default. So
but to lose because my bloody knee blew out, and this is the second time this knee blows out on me like this. So I was devastated, man, for about a period of 24 hours. But then the boys came around and got me up and going again.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I got to get stronger in like my legs. This niggling injury it's just not good, especially if I'm trying to fight in a cage where I need my lateral movements. And I can't do it. I can't do it with this busted meniscus. So I'm seeing the specialist on Friday, and we'll see what he wants to do.
Well, man, here at Good Smoke, we really love what you're doing and what you did, man, that night, because you were even saying to a point where you're like, you let us down and stuff, and I was like total opposite, man.
Yeah, bro.
I literally was there in the cage, like, you should. Some of the boys, I think it was around Kodiak and that, and I was like going back and forth because I was just like, man, this guy's actually gonna fight. But before it, I didn't really wasn't into it that much until I seen someone that I actually know is a bit about his story and his family. And I'm friends with his cousin. It's like there's a bit of a connection there.
Yeah.
And you've been in the ring, man. He had Good Smoke. We're proud of you, man. Honestly.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and if you can go on, like health wise and that, keep going, man.
Shout out.
Absolutely.
And we'll support you the whole way through. We'd love to keep it on the journey.
So much.
Yeah, stay listening to Good Smoke. Peri will be around a few times and probably a regular guest. We'll see if we can drag him in all the time, see what happens. But
for sure.
Till then, we're here every Tuesday, 6 to 8. This is Good Smoke. Remember, radioskidrow.org, goodsmoke.com.au. We've got the Ghana Boys next.
If you want to give them a call, it's 9550-9552. You'll probably speak to Foster. He's a hell of a dude. You'll laugh so much. And I don't know, ask him to get his wife to cook some Ghanaian food for him.
They look cool as shit outside hanging out.
Yeah? They're cool.
Were they out there?
Yeah.
Oh, were they? Okay. Shout out to those guys. Anyway, you're listening to Good Smoke.
Yes.
It's Radio Skid Row, you're listening to Good Smoke.